In this module of CSEA's online treasurer training, we'll take a look at the IRS Form 990N e-postcard. The 990N e-postcard is the tax form most of CSEA's locals and units must file each year. Why file? All CSEA regions, locals, and units are nonprofit organizations recognized by the IRS as 501c5, income tax exempt labor unions, and are required to file an annual information return with the IRS. This tax exempt status is granted to CSEA's subordinates through CSEA's group exemption with the IRS. All regions, locals, and units must be associated with CSEA's group exemption. This process occurs after a subordinate first obtains an employer identification number. CSEA renews the exemption with the IRS by submitting an annual update of all its subordinates. All regions, locals, and units, those not in local president or unit president structure, are required to obtain an IRS employer identification number, or EIN. This number belongs to the organization for life. You should have a letter in your records stating we assigned you an EIN. It looks like this, a letter from the IRS. If you don't know your EIN, regions and locals can contact the statewide treasurer for assistance. We will have your records on file. Units, contact your local, or contact the statewide treasurer. We may have your records on file. Or contact the IRS. The IRS tax line is 1-800-829-4933. Select options 1 through 3 and request a letter of confirmation. Be prepared to identify your local or unit by its legal name and provide the contact information of the last responsible party the IRS may have on file. Please contact us if you receive any correspondence from the IRS or are aware of any change in your organization's tax-exempt status. To maintain our income tax-exempt status, all CSEA subordinates are required to file an annual information return with the IRS. Failure to file may result in revocation of income tax-exempt status. Because any income received will be subject to federal income tax, organizations losing their tax-exempt status will not receive rebate income. Local treasurers do not pay rebates to units which have lost their tax-exempt status. If you are notified of a revocation by the IRS, contact the statewide treasurer's office immediately. If you suspect your status has been revoked or have had your filing rejected, call the statewide treasurer's office. Do not attempt to acquire a new EIN. We have the process to get you reinstated. An annual return must be filed with the IRS by February 15th. CSEA requires that return be sent to the local or to CSEA by January 1st every year. CSEA's annual tax mailing, sent to treasurers in November, provides instructions and forms for your organization. Failure to file may result in financial penalties and/or loss of income tax exemption. There are 3 flavors of 990 filings we are concerned with. The electronic postcard for organizations with normal income of $50,000 or less. Our 990N instruction packet is mailed each November. The packet provides screenshots and step-by-step instructions for filing the 990N. There is no cost to file a 990N through the IRS website. The 990N e-postcard must be filed electronically. If your 990N is late, the IRS will send a reminder notice to the last address they have on file. You cannot file until after your tax year ends, which is October 1st for CSEA subordinates. The IRS system will only let you file for the current tax period that is due. As of October 1, 2018, that period is October 2017 through September 2018. There's no penalty assessment for late filing the Form 990N, but organizations that fail to file for 3 consecutive years will automatically lose their tax-exempt status. The first step in filing the 990N e-postcard is creating a user account. This is the IRS home screen for 990N filings, and we're concerned with the left portion of the screen, signing up to create an account. To get started, the IRS will ask for your name and an email address. They're going to send a confirmation code to that email address. You'll need to get that code and enter it on the next screen. The email from the IRS looks something like this, and you'll enter that code in the box on this screen. The next step is to create your user profile. You'll be asked to create a username and a password according to the rules in the box on the right. You'll have an opportunity to update your email address, and then for your own protection to choose a site phrase and a site image so that you're sure when you log back in that you're talking to the IRS. You'll be asked to choose and answer 4 challenge questions, and we suggest that you write these answers down along with the user ID and password you created in the instruction packet we provide and keep it with the records of the local or the unit. The IRS will inform you when your profile is successfully created, and you will hit continue for a security announcement and continue again, and it will take you directly into the filing portion of the website where you will select Manage ePostcard Profile to create a new submission. You'll be asked to choose between select exempt organization or preparer. Please choose exempt organization from the drop-down list. In a moment, we'll actually go online to the IRS website to file a 990N e-postcard. Before we file, remember to have the correct tax ID for your organization, have the correct address for the treasurer. Don't attempt to file using a smartphone. When filing, check the accounting period. Make sure that it is between October to September. Make note that Civil Service Employees Association appears on the form. And use only letters, numbers, or a hyphen when entering text fields. Other characters will cause filing errors, and text fields cannot exceed 35 characters. We're going to return to the IRS login homepage for 990N, and we're going to enter the username and then the password we just created. The link to the 990N filing site is below there. I'm not going to type that in. Instead, I'm going to navigate my way through the IRS website. The way to get to the 990N filing website is through your browser. Type irs.gov, hit return. We're going to click on the Internal Revenue Service. We're going to type 990N up in the search box. And we're going to scroll down to About Form 990N Electronic Notice for Tax-exempt Organizations. Click on that. And we're going to scroll down to Ready to File, and we're going to click on Form 990N Electronic Filing System. This takes us to the login screen. I'm going to type in my ID. That's my site image. My password is already entered here, so I'm just going to hit submit. You'll have to type in your password the first time. This is my login history. And I'm going to hit Manage ePostcard Profile. And as you can see, I've filed for several organizations already. Your screen will be black the first time, blank, and I'm going to enter the EIN I'm looking to file for. We are going to file for one of our organizations that's in administratorship. We're going to file on their behalf. We're going to hit enter. I didn't enter enough digits here. We got an error. That's good. That's what happens if you, right away, it won't let you through. I'm going to add a 3 there. And we'll see that that number I typed in appears at the bottom of my list. As I said, you won't have any on your list. I'm going to choose Create a New Filing. And I'm going to select that EIN number, the 134189063, and I'm going to continue. The first thing I want you to notice on this screen is it says for the tax year ending September 30th, 2018, which is good. And we see Civil Service Employees Association, meaning our tax ID is recognized and part of the group exemption. We're going to answer 2 questions on this screen. Has your organization terminated or gone out of business? You will not be terminating your organization. If you do go out of business, CSEA will cancel your tax ID. So we will just select no. Are your gross receipts normally $50,000 or less? If we answer yes to that, we're going to be allowed through. If we answer no, it's going to tell us that we can't file. Let's try. Yep. Submit a Form 990N, your gross receipts must be less than equal to 50,000. So we're going to select yes, we are less than 50,000, and we're going to continue. On this screen, we're required to update the contact information. The IRS has provisions for the organization's legal name, an office address, and then the name and address of the principal party. First off, we're going to enter, since we're only identified here as CSEA, we're going to enter the legal name or the doing business name of the organization we're filing for, which is CSEA Local 0745 Aramark at Harrison CSD, Central School District. Now, if you don't have an office, to satisfy the IRS, you're going to have to enter the principal party's address twice. We take the principal party as the individual we want to be contacted, so we use the treasurer. So I'm going to go down here first. And ordinarily we'll do the treasurer, but for the purpose of this online filing, we're going to use my name. I don't mind getting contacted by the IRS. And we're going to do the address up at the top, United States, 143 Washington Avenue, Albany, New York. It's pre-filled because I've done this before. And we're going to do it again at the bottom, United States, 143 Washington Avenue, Albany, New York. And we're going to hit Submit Filing. And there's an error. Invalid name. Remember I told you can only use certain characters in the name. You can't use an ampersand and an sign and dollar sign, anything else, even a period. So we're going to take that out, and we're just going to write at, making sure we don't have too many blank spaces either. And then we should be able to resubmit this. It's going to ask us are you ready to submit? And yes, we are. And we wait. It's giving us now a status of pending. Pending means it's only been submitted. Don't send pending to your local or to CSEA. We want to see a result from this filing. First, we have a one-time option to print the copy of this filing for our records. So you can print this, and it says information copy. Do not send to IRS. Don't send it to CSEA. This is an information copy. We're going to go back to this screen, and we're going to look for this filing now in our 990N submission list. And as you see, my submission is at the top here. It says pending. It has an ID, and it says get updated status available 7 minutes following submission. So we have to wait 7 minutes. You go away, leave it logged on, go away for 7 minutes, and then return for an updated status. And by pausing a little bit, we've made 7 minutes go by in only about 7 seconds, and we're going to try to change the status here by hitting F5. And you see it's changed to get updated status, and it's also clickable. We're going to click on it now. And we'll wait a little bit. And it has said accepted. We're going to click on the submission ID, and we get a nice accepted screen. And the important thing is the word accepted here with the tax ID and the tax year. You can print this to a PDF and email it to your local or to CSEA. You can also print it. And from here you can log out. You're done filing for another year. So when filing, the only valid statuses are accepted or rejected. When you're accepted, units send a copy of your accepted screen to your local treasurer. Locals send a copy of your accepted screen to the statewide treasurer's office. And locals with units send copies of your units' accepted screens to the statewide treasurer. These acceptances are due on January 1st. If your filing was rejected, your organization's tax-exempt status may have been revoked. Contact the statewide treasurer's office for instructions on how to proceed. It's possible the IRS may not have your organization listed as a tax-exempt organization. Contact CSCA to determine if your unit or local is listed as part of our group exemption with the IRS. If necessary, we'll ask the IRS to add your EIN to our list. This may take up to 6 weeks to update before you can file a 990N. Now remember, there's no late penalty associated with the 990N. And again, do not attempt to acquire a new EIN. As a reminder, this is CSCA's contact information for the statewide treasurer, for the internal audit department, and for the IRS. To conclude, keep your EIN letter, your user ID, your password, and answers to the security questions with the records of your region, local, or unit. Be sure to file by January 1st. If your accounting period does not show up as October through September, contact CSCA's internal audit department. Remember to send a copy of your filing to your local treasurer or to the statewide treasurer. And contact CSCA if your filing is rejected or if you receive any letter from the IRS. Good luck and happy filing. For CSCA, this is Rich Condellis.